Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts, Reviews and Off Times Reminiscences. Today we're doing Lamba, and I've heard these before. I was on the cusp of buying the last album of theirs, but never did. Not quite sure why, but nonetheless, a new one has landed, and I listened to it, bought it straight away. So they're doing something right in my ears at the moment. Look at the album cover. There's hints of what the music may be, but anybody looking at that would be left guessing, I think, until they actually heard what the album entails. But let's listen to one of the songs. They're all a delight. I haven't got a favourite, but I've picked one virtually at random. But let's listen to Corridors, shall we? So this is atmospheric black metal. It says so on the label, and I ain't going to disagree with that. But what an atmosphere it is! It's a deluge, and it's a deluge of acid rain. Really, it's sort of little scree of melody there. Definitely fizzes and pops as if someone's stuck a bit of sulfuric acid in the mix, and you will know by now, regular visitors, that when I get the drums get all rapide, I'm very, very happy. But even here, the slower sort of sections, unusual drum pattern being used there, or not a typical one for metalish music, and all adds to that sort of it grabs your attention more, shall we say, even more than it did already. It's just little effects like that which lift this artist above the norm, and they are well above the norm as far as I'm concerned. This album in particular, which I've listened to 2 or 3 times now, is a contender already for my favourite for this year, or one of my favourites for this year. It's going to take some heavy hitting to knock it off out of the top 10, I'd say. But anyway. or it kicks in again. Going back to those drums, it very much when they're not blasting, they're very much anti-rock and roll, if you like. So you have those sort of typical sort of heavy metal or rock drum patterns that you'll hear when bands slow down. For my ears, anyway, that ain't the case here. It's not a rock riff, as far as I know. I'm no expert on anything to do with musical composition, but that to me sounds, you're heading more towards jazzy sort of drum riffs than you are rock riffs, shall we say. It struck me then, we talk about tsunamis of sound, which this certainly has at times, but it's, we've depends on how you envisage or take to be what to take to be a tsunami. You've got the sort of the disaster movie Japanese tsunamis that are skyscraper high, and then you've got the reality of real tsunamis, if you like, which are that surge of water, which aren't quite as high but just as devastating. This to me feels like, and again it's a subjective sort of feeling, it feels like a waist high tsunami of warm water. So it's sort of, it doesn't overwhelm you in the sense of a crush of water, but it overwhelms you emotionally, shall we say. And as I say, it's sort of warm water rushing by, but you manage to keep your footing, and it's at that height where it still warms your cockles. And for me, it's this isn't devastation as such. It's almost a complete opposite. It feels like life affirming more than the opposite. So again, it's a subjective feeling. Again, atmospheric music of any description is about the picture painted, and that very much depends on you, I guess. For me, as I say, this is uplifting. You can probably hear the cave dogs barking. Forgive me if you can. What was I going to say? Yes, so I shan't tell him to shut up because it never works. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yes, so if this was a painting, it'd be a watercolor. that's the sense I get of it. It's those sort of more pastel-y type colours that this paints, but then you get the vocals that take a razor blade and cross-hatch the whole picture. So again, it's one of those useful. That's not right. One of those effective contrasts of warm or linear sort of music, sort of contrast with harshness that the vocals provide there. I don't think my dog's going to shut up, but hey ho, these are one take videos. Whatever comes. But what was I going to say? Blooming dogs. Yes. So again, it's that wash of warmth. Again, you might always get this when I listen to music that other people describe as ice cold. Very often I feel like it's warm, but anyway, put the music on. You might not be able to hear the dogs then. Right, so I'm going to contradict myself now. When I mentioned watercolour and pastel, that was before the base kicked in. Now that base is far too rich to be described as a watercolour. It is an oil painting, at the very least. And my dogs are still kicking off, but so hopefully you can't hear them. Or it's not distracting too much. But yes, that base comes in there so rich and fluid that I think with the analogy that it's definitely an oil painting. Oil's used to accentuate that watercolour painting, maybe. So there you go. It's totally immersive music, that is. You could listen to it, the whole album, in the dark with headphones, and you just drift away. It's like it's almost like a magic carpet ride. You're taking places, and again, you're almost smothered by it. It's a bit like, if I remember rightly, you can actually breathe water when it's heavily oxygen saturated, and it's like you're drowning, but you're able to breathe with this. You're smothered and soaked and sort of a little bit of pressure from water around you, but you retain your vitality because the vitality of the music perhaps leaches into you regardless. Anyway, thoroughly recommended, and I'll probably, if this was a vinyl record, it'd probably worn out by now. But anyway, top notch. Clicky bollocks then. Catch you all later. Cheerio.